because you don't know what you don't know until you find out what you don't know. Does that make sense? So for today's video, I'm going to talk about books that I've recently purchased to help me design a perennial bed that is drought tolerant and low maintenance. Hi, my name is Lynn Ismael. I'm a home gardener in southwestern Ontario, zone 5B/6A, depending on how cold our winter gets. Back in 2021, I discovered that I like gardening. And so I developed my own garden, a little patch right beside the house. I was aiming more for a secret garden look, mainly shrubs and some perennials. And so I planted a few foundational shrubs to put on my landscape in fall of 2021. And my plan was to add some annuals, fill in the spots until the shrubs get bigger and become more established. Little did I know that I would fall in love with the first harvest of snapdragons in May of 2022. And I've been hooked since then. Now, I know that I'm going to be concentrating on cut flowers this year, but I still want to have a portion of my garden that's dedicated to drought-tolerant plants that can withstand low water, that I don't have to worry about watering them, just let nature do its thing, and to provide more habitat for the bees and other insects that might benefit from having more plants around. My style of learning is just to read books, watch videos, and then just do it. I have Gardener's World and a bunch of YouTube videos that I watch to help me learn more about gardening. But in terms of books, I do like to splurge on them. So beside me is a stack of 3 books. Look how hefty they are. Oh, let's see. It's maybe about 15 pounds. 15 pounds worth of books. So I don't know how many pages they are. Probably about, less than 1,000 pages of books. I don't know how many words, but there's lots of pictures down there. Anyway, I have these stacks of books that I'm hoping I can learn from, so that when I start planning my dry perennial bed, then I'll have more idea of what exactly looks good. Because you don't know what you don't know until you find out what you don't know. Does that make sense? So, first book, The Seasonal Gardener, Creative Planting Combinations by Anna Pavord.
As the title of the book suggests, it's about choosing plants that combine well together in the landscape. I do appreciate that she had organized these combinations based on the season. So you can fill your garden with plants that bloom together and that complement each other in terms of the type of soil that they grow on and the amount of light that they need. She also placed color combinations in perspective as well. So she really makes it easy for a designer or a gardener to plan out their planting. When she combines plants together, she likes to combine plants based on their structure. So plants that tend to flop down are placed together with plants that have more upright in structure, ones with have sturdier stems, so that when the floppy plants do flop down, then they still look good in the landscape. Whereas the other 2 books have more formal style of writing. It reminds me more of a textbook. Anna Pavord's writing has more personality, I find. I find some of her descriptions of plants has some humor in it. So it's really quite enjoyable to read through the book and see. And it's just interesting how she approaches gardening in such a cheeky perspective. Each of our combination composes of 3 plants, one main one, as pictured in a bigger frame, and 2 companion plants. In this particular combination, it's an astrantia with some gora. I have some astrantia seeds, and I do have some gora seeds, and I haven't really thought about combining them together, but seeing them pictured here makes me want to try them for this coming season. So I'm really glad that I got this book, because otherwise I wouldn't have chosen that combination. At the back of the book, she has more lists on other plant combinations that you could consider, just in case you don't have access to the original plant that she proposed, or if you just don't like what that original plant is. Anyway, I'm excited about this combination with a Cerinth with Dutch iris. Now that I think about it, that's a brilliant combination. I'm going to try it for sure.
Next on the list is, wow, compared to my face, that is quite big. Tom Stuart-Smith, drawn from the land.
Tom Stuart-Smith is a celebrated landscape architect in the UK. I first came across him possibly from Gardener's World. I don't actually remember, but I know that he had won Best in Show at the Chelsea Flower Show 3 times. His style embraces the new perennial movement approach, and this book features the gardens that he has designed featuring this approach. Aside from the beautiful photos that are included in this book, they've also provided an insight on how Tom Stuart-Smith thinks about a garden, what kinds of things he looks out for, and how he makes the decisions of his planting based on what the clients want, and based also on the location where the garden is situated. I'm hoping to learn more about his plant choices, how he puts them in the landscape, how he creates rhythm, how he makes the garden look natural and complement the surrounding environment where they are. Now, I've browsed through a lot of seed catalogs over the last few months, so I can tell the name of plants just by looking at it most of the time. So if you're a beginner gardener, this book is probably not going to help you figure out the planting combinations, because they don't usually put the names on them. But you can still draw inspiration based on looking at the foliage texture, the bloom colors, and all that. It's a good coffee book style to browse through.
Beyond Bold, Inspiration, Collaboration, and Evolution.
Similar to the previous book, this book, Beyond Bold, features works from a design firm in the States. They're called OVS, and I think that stands for Own Van Sweden Group. They describe their approach as the new American garden style of design, which balances architectural craftsmanship and horticultural complexity. For each of their design, they put seasonality, ecology, sustainability, and aesthetics into consideration. Because they've worked in various settings, from urban redevelopments, civic spaces, botanical gardens, to name a few, they've come across several challenges in terms of helping preserve the ecosystem in the gardens that they've worked with. And what I like about this book so far is that they talked about the solutions they used to help achieve their goals, what their clients want, and still preserve the ecosystem within that garden. So I'm just really looking forward to learn from their approach and just be inspired by the beautiful gardens that they've created.
So there you go. Those are my 3 books. I'm hoping to read sometime this winter. If you have any books that you would recommend for me to check out, write down in a comment below. I'm always on the lookout for books that I can learn from. If you find this video helpful, please click on the like button. And if you want to follow me in my journey to gardening, if you want to see if I eventually follow any of the things that I learned from these books, maybe you should subscribe to my channel. I can be entertaining sometimes. Sometimes, most of the time. My mom says so. See you next time. I like big stacks, I cannot lie. You other birders can't deny.